night, and this is the interesting part, which they'll do 4 times, where you get that massive attrition, Greg.
Yeah, so when they come down this flatter section here, you're going to hit a hairpin turn any time now, and if you're holding a feather power up, bang, that's where you use it, 4, 5, 6%, flattens out a little bit. When we hit this little right-hander here, bang, up she goes again. So that's when those heart rates will go through the roof, and there'll be a lot of white knuckles holding some handlebars in the pain caves.
Yeah, chance here to sort of teams gets a little bit sorted. We do see some early attacks sometimes through this part as they come back through the other side, and you'll start to see that KOA Sports Rock off in the distance very shortly on the left-hand side. There it is, and they'll wind their way into the tunnel, and bang, here we go. We start to see big orange lights on the right-hand side, and you get the double kick to finish. But, of course, we do have another rider as well, Nathan Guerra. So we're going to try and bring him in the action as well, Greg, which we'll go through in a sec.
He's having a little smile there. I can see him. He's texting all his fans there. We got him. We might letterbox him into the corner throughout the broadcast as we go. So great to see Nathan in his cave, and we might cross to Nathan as well, Tim, in our little halftime show. Something brand new to the KOA Sports broadcast. So stick around for that. That's going to be an absolute ripper as we speak all things Zwift and training peaks and all sorts of things through that halftime break. So looking forward to that. Let's cross through and have a look at some of the riders that are going to be having a crack around this course this morning. And first rider on the cards. I've been waiting for a little man from Ireland to pop up for quite a while, because if you don't know out there, and you guys certainly know this, but my old man's Irish, but he's about 4'6" and smokes a packet of Winnie Reds a day. But we won't be seeing him. But a man out of Ireland we're going to highlight this morning is Cormac McKeough. He hails out of Ireland, but actually lives in Colorado. Another professional cyclist coming across to the KOA Sports League community race as well, and wouldn't mind a little photo like that, winning a race, a state race.
Keep at it, mate. Keep at it.
Up in Thailand. So, Cormac, 189 centimetres. He's bordering on the beanstalk category, 77 kilos. 20, as I said, new to Zwift, 21 races. Races with the Wildlife Generation team out of Colorado, and he has already clocked, just if you don't mind, a lazy 8,000 kilometres on his bike, and we're not even at the end of April. So
wow.
Huge amount as a pro cyclist. He just completed recently as well the Tour of Langkawi late last year, so one of the big races, and a lot of people out there know the Tour of Langkawi. And the old mate next to me here this morning's got his head wobble on because he had to get a charter flight to bring back his trophies from Langkawi a couple of years ago. So throw across to Tim to highlight the next rider, but good luck to Cormac, and known to his mates as Cormy. So there you go.
I did, of course. I set the course record there. You left that out, Greg.
Oh, yeah, right. Yep. Was that in Colombo, or is that?
No, definitely not Colombo. But yes, course record there in Langkawi in the 70.3. Little head wobble.
Still standing.
Okay, Jack Polly, bring him in from the United Kingdom, currently living in New Zealand. About the same climate, you would have thought. 113 races on Zwift Power. His last 10 starts, he's gone 2-1-1. That's 2 wins, a second and a third. Came 20th last week in the KOA Sports Community Warrior Race, and set a new FTP in the Warrior Race. So getting amongst it, finding that broadcast FTP. So good luck to Jack Polly. Love that photo. Nice and aero, and looking lean and mean. So good luck, Jack. And Greg, let's have a look before we get to the start of the race, mate.
Yep, just a lazy new nickname there, the roly-poly coming through from Jack. So I'll throw that one out there too. We make them up on the fly here at KOA Sports. So last racer we're going to highlight this morning or this evening, wherever you are in the world, is Fabian Hassan. Now, Tim loves calling Fabian through. He is always in the front group every week in the KOA Sports Community Race, and looking forward to him again. Does a little bit of try as well, so good to see. Does a little bit of running, so 183 centimetres tall, 78 kilos, 96 races, about to clock the ton and raise the bat, as they say, and a couple of bronzes, a couple of third places in his last 10 starts, and interestingly, his current FTP, which I don't have in front of me right now, but that was set in a KOA Sports League race only about 3 weeks ago. So building his FTP up, and no doubt as a huge A-grade group this morning of over 110 riders. So looking forward to seeing Fabian absolutely smash it in that front group. So Kappa, let's throw to the stinger.
Per kilo by Sproul,
Chris is coming back over the top. Righto, here we are in the paddock, Tim.
And give a shout out.
Let's give a quick couple of shout outs, and then we're going to cross to Nathan one sec. Well, let's cross to Nathan before he absolutely rips it in, and he is in his pain cave all the way over. There he is. How are you, mate?
Hang on. Let's try and get him. Let's try a little bit of
20
sound.
seconds to go.
That's all right. We're quick throw to you. You ready to go? Ready to drop the watts?
I think so. 133 beats per minute.
We'll let you settle in, mate, into the warm-up stage of the race, and off we go.
Yeah, we'll try and bring a bit more sound onto Nathan as well, because there'll be a lot of huffing and puffing. Before we go, Ian Balzan, he's asked for a shout out. Shout out to Ian Balzan. Greg, over to you, mate.
Here we go. So over 400 riders in the paddock. It'll be on like Donkey Kong this morning, and they're just about to take that little turn onto Ocean Boulevard, and a huge front pack will roll out together as they go through the KSL community race this morning. And there's all those familiar names. There's the finish line there, Tim, on Ocean Boulevard, and it's great to see. We have the course to ourselves, which is awesome to see.
Yeah,
and
good to see.
We're just with the great Rick Charlesworth, Ivany there at the moment too. Another nickname that we've thrown out there that is absolutely stuck. And it's great to see there, guys, if you're watching and you're an Australian, a very, very famous Australian athlete, triple Olympic gold medalist, Mr. Drew Ginn, part of the awesome foursome.
Really?
And if you, he's in the field. He's 196.
Goulburn Valley, baby.
He's 196 centimetres tall. I've met Drew quite a number of times in my life, and his hands are bigger than your feet, Tim.
He definitely doesn't remember you.
He is a huge human. He probably doesn't. But, good shout out to Drewy, and he has an amazing story. And I'm not going to sing Goulburn Valley Gold, but,
Oh, imagine just getting that for the rest. He's won some Olympic medals, but
do you know how much money he made off that?
That's true.
Business.
Fruit salad,
selling
baby.
Fruit cups. Kappa wasn't even born when Drewy won his first Olympic medal. There
Definitely need to give a big welcome along to Training Peaks. Of course, we're heavily involved as coaches with Training Peaks, and they are joining the distribution here of the KOA Sports League race. So if you are watching on Training Peaks, you're hearing the commentary here from 3 Level 2 coaches who think they know a little bit about coaching. So if you are watching through Training Peaks, welcome along, and welcome along to all the guys at Training Peaks. We've got plenty of great data that we'll bring into you in the halftime show and all throughout the broadcasters now as we start to bring in a lot of those metrics and things like that. So we're always trying to up our game, and it's great to have them along. And of course, we have a big State of Origin announcement as well, which went out last night. Cycling Queensland and Cycling New South Wales here in Australia going head-to-head on some dates which we'll go through as well. So we'll tease that out as these riders at the moment make their way to basically the start of the race. They're still in the lead-in, and they'll start the 4 laps. So some big names in there, Greg, and a great view there. We are running 2 Zwifts at the moment as well, so we'll be able to sort of flick back. We do like to try and call a few finishes through, so I'll roll my way back here on the helicopter.
Few people. There's Nathan in there. He's in a camo kit that's purple and blue. I've picked him out. So a few people to shout out to here, Tim. This is obviously the biggest field. We say this every week, but it's absolutely true. Can see the roly-poly in there. We've got Bowen, Gould. I saw JPV in there. Alex Sides in there. Aidan Sinclair backing up from his second place last night. Let's see if he can time that sprint just a little bit better. He broke up that Kenyan domination last night, so great to see the young man from the Oliver's Real Food Racing team absolutely giving it to these older blokes as they roll around.
Boniface there, 10.3 watts per kilo, just laying it down early across maybe just trying to pick up, maybe stretch the legs out, just test Nathan Guerra's legs out.
Bit of TV time
Double
there
breakaway.
from Brett, and 2 guys off the front. We've highlighted, that's Scott Gleeson there as well.
Boniface.
Tim, we've definitely highlighted Gleeson before in the pre-show.
Certainly have.
And good to see Sprowley Chops in there as well, and he will be no doubt running his own little broadcast, so shout out to him. And Kenta Endo, as always, Kenta's in that front group, along with Pikey I saw in there as well, and you'll recognise Pikey. He will be in a KOA Sports kit with a aero helmet on.
Yep, Vandenberg, Poliski, and I'm sure Eric Hart's in there somewhere, one of the regulars here on the KOA Sports League Warrior race. So, that breakaway still a couple of seconds up the road. It's a little bit concertinaed out, but certainly well within striking distance, and it's a very, very difficult field here to break away from. or I don't see it happening here in the first 3 laps, but you never know with some of the talent here in the field and also with some of the teams, Greg, if they can coordinate some stuff.
Just speaking of teams, Tim, we're following Herbert there, part of the Cannondale Echelon 4 Triple I team. And
always
got that
right.
I nailed that, didn't I? So, I did see in there Eric Lozelle, who took the chockies last week. So have no doubt that Eric, you never see Eric Lozelle until it counts. So he will be definitely figuring
as
the
they
finish.
come up this ramp. Let's maybe with sound or without sound. Let's bring Nathan Guerra up and just see what it's like down there in his pain cave as he comes up the hill. Because he's in a good way, and if we've got a little bit more volume as well, maybe Nathan can talk us through the ramp coming up here on the right hand side.
Real funny there, real funny.
Yeah. Just picking him up there.
Happening.
No worries, Nathan. So good to see him down there. So we're trying to bring, obviously, some in real life action into the riders as well. But we set a pretty high bar. We definitely want some green screen. We want some ways to do it like this.
So power ups,
a lot
Tim.
of power ups.
And I
there.
saw Nathan reach for the keyboard there just as we cut away. So that's him off the front, believe it or not. And he's definitely off the front of this group, laying his power up down. I caught him the kit, the camo
Vision?
kit. Rolling off the front there a little bit, yeah. So great to see. There he is. Look at that purple Tron bike, no doubt about it, in that front group. And just rolling up here, another 5% kick as you go up this little ramp as well. And won't win the race here, but you'll definitely be thrown out of that group.
Yeah, and as things start to settle down, we'll definitely be able to cast our eyes down at some of the comments coming through on Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. So be sure to interact, leave any questions, particularly if you're watching on Training Peaks as well. We're trying to get across to some of those and put some things in context. And of course, starting next week, we'll be giving away some. Training Peaks are going to start to give away a little bit of loot for some quizzes and things like that, some definitions of certain metrics, and because it is all about learning as well. So we'll throw a bit of that in there.
Let's throw one at Kappa. Tim, let's just throw him straight under the bus.
He's got a bit on.
No, we'll just give him an easy one. What does CTL stand for, Kappa?
Oh, that's a horrific thing to throw him under the bus. He's got about 16,000 things going on. Chronic training load. I'll help him. He's got about 16 questions. He's got about 16 screens open. G. Cohen in there. Alex Side. Aidan Sinclair. Ciano, the Zwift kid of the Commonwealth Bank. Nathan Guerra. The Radar Rodriguez. And Henderson, Bjorn, Thaverge, Gleason, Raff, and D. Watts. D. Watts is a really nice surname to have in cycling.
It's a great one for Zwift, isn't it?
Yeah, talk about Watts.
Let's talk about that. So shout out to Jason Avery. He has a mate that he is convinced to come and share the pain with him, and that man is by the name of Matt Collier. He's doing his first ever Zwift race. Well, there's no better initiation than joining this one. So hopefully he's still in that front group, and to see Aidan Sinclair getting a little bit smarter there. He's just positioning himself at the back of the group. And, right around Hassan and Ciano, the Zwift kid as well.
I'm claiming him.
Pozzolini's in there. There's Makio, who we highlighted pre-race. Hopefully he hasn't had any Winnie Reds. He will be smashing it out as it goes around. Well, I was just talking about my old man and his darts.
Gotcha.
So Johnny Rocket in there, Team Finesse, well represented once again, Team Finesse, and great to see those guys always popping it out in the KOA Sports Warrior community race as well.
Got a really tidy pack here that we're actually following back here with a mix of sort of B and C riders as well. They're only about, I'm going to say about 20 seconds back of this front group as well, and they're really got their stuff together. So really interesting finish here back on this section of the race as well. So we'll certainly come and have a look at that later. But here comes the front group. They are about to finish their first lap, and you'd expect probably on the third lap they'll start overtaking some of the riders in D grade, and as we'll try and call them through as well, because one of the more exciting finishes last night was actually we jumped back and caught Zingers, and I forget the other gentleman's name, but it was just a head-to-head battle. And of course, it's all relative, Greg, to your threshold, and the intensity factor for them is just what it is up here as well. So it's all about everyone. And as you say, Eric Lozelle there, you don't see him come to the front. He's just tucked in, and he just takes the chocolates. He takes that many chocolates, mate. He's putting on weight.
Well, Tim, this is the thing in the KOA Sports Warrior race. We don't give out prizes for leading the pack and dragging everyone up the road. We give them out for the winner. So we'll see. Look at that right. There's your
that wasn't me.
He just head wobbled. He loves a good ride on Bond. So, and if you're watching for the first time, the athletes on those fluorescent bikes. We call them the Tron bike or the Zwift concept bike, and that indicates that those riders are very experienced, doing over 50,000 metres of elevation through their Zwift journey. So good to see the big trouser in there, Tim. We haven't seen the big trouser before, and he's an athlete out of Canada, and good to see him in there as well, along with Sprowley. Haven't seen Gilbert in this race this morning. He usually shows up, but haven't caught him yet.
Well called, mate. Well called. So, of course, we do, after the community race, we are going to the Bologna course. But in between, we've got our new halftime show kicking off where we've got a bit of Zwifty news, a little bit of stuff as well. So, check out the little stinger. So, look at that. So, when this race finishes, don't leave us. We're going through at least another 45 minutes at the end of this race. So, stick around and we'll have a quick little break here. Check it out and we'll be right back. Oh, Kappa's getting pretty good at the old Adobe and getting good at making some little clips. So we try and do the best we can there. So, yep, stick around for that. And, of course, after the broadcast, we are recording about a 2-hour podcast with Nathan Guerra, and fair to say he'll need probably about a half an hour rest between race and podcast. So big attack here off the front. We've got 9.4 watts per kilo. Again. JPV, 11.5 watts per kilo, laying the hammer down. This is that time here to attack. You can see it sometimes on the second lap. He's going solo, though, up the road at 9.3 watts per kilo. Back to Ivany, Polly, Thomas, and Big E off the front. Can they reel him in? He's already put 4 seconds back. Help. He's in really good form, Greg. 4 seconds up that climb alone is seriously good power, albeit his heart rate is holding in the 180s already. So we know that is not sustainable, certainly, but it's good to see some aggressive riding.
So we've got Siri's just chimed in and tried to help us out with a few things on the broadcast.
And they reckon they're not listening.
That's all good. The world is watching. So, he's still JPV needs some help. He needs a couple to come across. He's a bloody strong rider. He's won this race 3, 4, 5 times and always attacks like this. This is the earliest I've ever seen him go, but I thought it might have been Boniface. They're in similar jerseys. So if we can get a couple of athletes across to that group. We're just watching Brett at the moment. His heart rate's sitting at a lazy 160 as well, so great to see. Huge front pack, 67 riders, and here goes Drew again.
Right to the front.
Interesting fact about Drew as well, Tim and Kappa, he showed up as a rower to the Australian Time Trial Championships about 8 years ago and finished, I'm going to say 4th or 5th. So he has a huge cycling engine.
How's his base?
Absolutely unbelievable. He's been a professional athlete since he was 18 years of age.
Well, if he can run, we all know that rowing is
rowing is
going to become a part of Zwift at some stage or someday, apparently. So it'd be fair to say that Drew, if he keeps his cycling game and can run, have got no idea, rowing, he will dominate.
He's dominate. He's dropped a sub 10 Ironman at least once. I can tell you. I definitely know that for a fact, and he can correct us if we are wrong. But I'm pretty sure that's an actual fact, Kappa, that we might be able to. Have you got a fact? Here we go. Another attack off the front here as well. And who we got here? It is, who are we following there? Boniface. There we go. I thought that was him before, but different coloured bike to JPV. And he's got some help there with Podsolini maybe going across that gap as well. So these two, there's 3 now at the front. And it'll be really good, interesting to see. We're just going past the lapped rider there. So.
Yeah, they're putting some work in here. So we've got 3 riders here off the front, and they are some pretty talented riders at that. So you wouldn't want to give too much time to these guys, because if they can start to get their stuff together, then certainly they can lay it down. They've already put 6 seconds back, so this could be a race-winning lead. Already 6-7 seconds. Podsolini, of course, and Boniface, some extremely talented riders there in this front pack. And, of course, then 7 seconds back to Ciano, McLoone, Endo, Polly, Glavac at 7 seconds back. But big pack back there with a lot of riders as well. So that's going to be hard to hold off.
Still 57 riders now. There's a bit of attrition there. So 57 riders still back in that main pack with Glavac and Sprowley still in there. Pikey's still there. So have no doubt they'll reel this 3 back in, this trio straight off the front as they roll through and pick up another power up. And you'll see that little lap counter on the right-hand side indicating we have 2 laps to go, sorry.
Yeah, no doubt at all. So 2 laps to go, as you say, Greg. Yeah, so halfway through for the A-grade guys here off the front, and a stacked field as well. So Kent, what we might do is let's try and drop back here at this second group, who are now sort of about probably 40 seconds back. Just a wonderful view there, because some nice weather there, just rolling over this second pack. So a nicely well organised pack. So let's have a look here. We've got some riders, of course, here and here. We've got Lundbeck, Adigo, Barras, E. Clark. So we'll keep an eye on that. You know, pushing really good, steady power.
There's Alan Burton in there in that group as well. So huge numbers coming from that group as well. And we've got Steve Davies in that group as well. And Harry Purcell there, another Australian athlete, and a couple of the Natural Grocers team that we've highlighted before in the league as well, Tim. So really good to see that. So you'll see the number there, 118th. So they're a little bit further back than this A-grade bunch.
Yeah, of course. So they're just about to finish their second lap. So you probably, I'm just off the top of my head, probably 90 seconds back now of that front group. So we'll certainly catch this finish, because you've got at least 20 riders, 15 riders here in this pack. So we'll come back and catch the finish of these guys as we roll on back to the front of the race very shortly.
Yeah, so back with A-grade now, and that group, the attrition starting to look at that. There's a few getting popped off the back of that group.
Guerra still there?
Guerra just sitting in nicely,
there
if you don't mind. So the broken spoke next to his name this morning. So Aidan Sinclair, you'll pick him out. He's in that Oliver's kit with a target on his back, and we're just following with Drew Ginn at the moment. 156 beats a minute on the heart rate. Certainly working his bum off. They've just about got these three back, Tim, right before this little ramp.
They have, but how much work have they had to do to reel them back in as they come up this ramp now? Lots of power-ups, draft buses, feather power-ups. You won't see many aero helmets in, because that's exactly what you want in the finish.
JPV rolling off to the front again. Here he goes again, Tim. He's laying it down this morning, so we'll see him at the right-hand side. And I did notice Lizelle just right at the front of that group as well. So we're just going to roll through to the front.
Even without sound, let's bring Nathan Guerra up in the corner for a couple of minutes and just watch what it looks like to come off the back of this climb as well.
We won't make him talk at the moment. So here he goes. He's working his absolute backside off in his pain cave, and it's great to see one of the most experienced riders on Zwift right through over the many years. So
yeah, looking forward to hearing his story very shortly. We've got about a 2-page agenda to go through with him, so I hope he's got his boxing gloves on, because there's some curly questions in there. We don't like the straight bat lollipop questions, so we like to hit hard on the KOA Sports podcast.
We haven't given him any heads up. Here he goes. He got the heavy breathing going on. He's got a bit of the man fur coming out the front of the jersey as well. So it's good to see he's still got a top on though. So great to see Nathan smashing it out. And just to look back in that group as well, Johnny Rocket's still in there. Doving, another B&B rider. So they're coming real hot and fast now to this league. So great to see Doving in that group. He's won our race before as well.
Jay Thomas looking really good. Team Finesse, always well organised. Always well organised. They I would say, no doubt have a private group going during races as well. So interesting here. So they're sort of working their way towards the final stages of the third lap, and you can see Hassel the Hoff in there as well. So Team Finesse, you've got Hogan as well. So well and truly, Team Finesse have got well and good representation here in the front pack of the KOA Sports Community Warrior race.
Yeah, I just got one eye to Kappa. Don't jump back, but I just had one eye that other group's now just starting to decimate a little bit as well. So no need to jump back, but definitely some fireworks happening in there. Great to see Johnny Rocket. He will be streaming as well, no doubt. And just look at that thin out of that group now, Tim. We had 60 riders last lap. We're down to 56 now in that front group. So
D. Watts rolling through to the front there, taking a good turn, and of course another yellow Tron bike running through as well. So the Tron bike, of course, that big fluoro bike, of course you've got to sign up, but if you can accomplish 50,000 metres of climbing, if I said that right, you'll unlock the Tron bike, hard earned. Or if you're like Tim Searle and got too much, he's got 20 Tron bikes on his wall, accomplishing over 1 million kilometres.
Right, so coming through to finish lap 3, you're just going to hit the double ramper as we come through. This is where it'll all be fireworks in about 3.5 to 4 minutes time. So you've got to watch this on the way back, and just rolling through, there's another attack off the front there. It looked like JPV or Boniface again in that green jersey, and we're just rolling through there. That's a D-grade bunch we're just rolling through, and I picked that right for once. It is Boniface again off the front, absolutely laying it down. So keep an eye out for him in the finish. He'll pick up another power-up. And Tim, what is the power-up of choice for this event?
Aero helmet, no doubt about it. You saw that last night when Viasen had the aero helmet, and he came screaming on the inside of Aidan Sinclair, and Westy probably probably had the same thing, but he had the feather. Yep. He didn't quite have the right power up. It's out of his control totally, but that's the gaming element. So I would have loved to have seen Alex West last night with the same power up as Lionel, because I really think there would have been a really tight three-way finish. So, hey, that's Swift Racing, and the call of the cards, that's the way sometimes it falls. And if you get the plus 10 XP, then welcome to my club.
Throw your computer out the window. So good to see Dex Dines in that group as well. So these two riders now have about a 5 second I'll get that right in a minute, a gap off the front of the field. So only about 3Ks to go. So last night we went sub 24 minutes for this front group. I think we're going to crack that again. With the size of the group, it's going to get blown to pieces on this last lap when we hit the climb.
Yeah, looks like we've got head-to-head here. We've got Weiss and Boniface going here. Two breakaway riders, of course. Boniface there in the green and Weiss there in the grey, I'm just going to say. But the main pack, we've seen them close 7 seconds in the final 300 metres, just to give you an indication of how fast this chasing peloton can move in the closing stages.
Bit of wind burn for these other athletes coming through now. They'll be like, what the hell just went past me? So there's definitely some riders out there just one lap back, and we're going to catch a lot of them. Tim, it's great for commentary when you're going to catch all these riders straight on the finish line.
We're pros.
It's always good. So, no, really good to see. Still seeing young Sinclair in there, and the big trouser. The big trouser still sitting on the back of that group, and there's Nathan just parched in on the back of that group as well.
Drew Ginn does like to do some work off the front. He's always in that sort of front 10% of the big pack, so good to see. Feather power-up's been played, so they, of course, will not get another power-up, and so they will go to the finish line empty-handed with their best power that they've got without. So Ballyhoo, Dan J, 477 watts here by Hasselhoff, 175 beats per minute. You get this double ramp now as well, so you get the kick and then the kick again.
Yeah, and then Gumbel in that front group. Gleason's still rolling through. They're just going to roll over the top of this other group in front of them, and this is all going to come back together when we hit this little 4% kick here, and still got that one rider off the front just pushing it absolutely to the wall. And the Zwift kid now coming across. Great to see Ciano clearly not working at the Combank today. He is coming across that gap, and you can see there, Tim, in fifth wheel now. There he is right there. Eric Lizelle just posing himself right at the front of the race when he needs to be there. So watch him for the finish.
He's moving forward. Ciano, the Zwift kid there, 7.6 watts per kilo. Definitely some sort of attack here. So he's moving through, trying to respond here up with Scotty Weiss as well. So Ciano from Australia and Scotty Weiss out of the USA. They're riding 2 and 2. We've got McClune back there, 1 second, 2 seconds back to Glavac in the main pack. These guys will come back together, and we're in for an absolute ripping finish.
Yeah, the old humdinger is going to come out this evening. So it's this pack's all coming back together. We've got about 1 kilometre or 1.5 Ks to go. So we're at 21 minutes. I couldn't see this going for much longer than 90 seconds or 2 minutes. So great to see Glavac in there. Just to see Lizelle, Tim, he's just positioning himself perfectly. And Pikey's still in that front group as well. We're down to 50 riders now in that front group. So if you're in there, you've got a chance at taking the jockeys.
Yeah, and welcome along, Dave. Look, I get this surname wrong all the time, but don't take it personally. I stuff names up all the time. But Dave Tower, welcome along to the broadcast, mate. Love what you're doing over there in the States with Nathan. Here we go. We're lining up for the finish now. JPV and N. Purnell as we get ready for the finish here in the KOA Sports
League. Guerra's still in the front
Warrior
group, guys.
Race.
He's still holding in there right in the middle of that front group. So watch a kick from him. Usually we see an attack now as we come down this little downhill ramp. We often see a little push off the front, which we are definitely seeing now. There's an athlete off the front with about a 1 second advantage.
Yeah, Aidan Sinclair, look for him as well underneath the KOA Sports rock here on the left-hand side. Geez, we're going to see some big numbers here, Greg.
Yeah, this is going to get... Here goes Dex Dines. He often goes early. We've got Weiss, Hould, and Purnell still in that front group. Bollieu as well, Glavac. These power-ups are being... Here we go now, right up to the finish. We've got the Hoff still in there as well. If you can just jump up to the front there, Tim, Kappa. Just following with Weiss at the moment. Sivery off the front. There's the power-ups being used. We've got a feather there at the front. Who's that athlete at the front there? It's Weiss off the front. And here we go. Sivery up to the line. McClune coming. Comes JPV. 15 watts a kilo now from JPV as he bounces out of the pack. Him and Boniface coming up to the wheel. Sivery still off the front. 1 kick to go. Here comes up to the line Scott Weiss. Boniface coming. JPV trying to hold in there. And here comes Nathan Guerra still in that top 5 as well. So Scotty Weiss taking the chockies there. And a huge pack of riders. We'll have to go back and have a look at the replay. And I'm just watching Nathan Guerra's sprint as that came through on the live broadcast. And if he looked like a chicken looking for his breakfast. And we've got Nathan in the corner there at the moment. He is absolutely cooked.
He's spent.
So well
Look
done,
how that looks.
Nate. He came home so hard, guys. He absolutely ripped it ripped it home. And here we go. We're just going back to a second group here, and we're going to definitely call those guys home as well. Just leave Nathan in the corner there for a minute, Kappa. Hopefully he doesn't fall off that bike. But what an amazing performance. I reckon he was top 5, but we will go back and have a look at the replay. There we go, fifth. I got it right.
He's picked up 5th, and of course he has been a little bit crooked lately, which we heard about on the Zwiftcast. So I reckon that's the first time he's emptied the tank in about 3 to 4 weeks. Is that right, Nathan? If you give us a thumbs up, that's probably the deepest you've gone for a few weeks.
Yesterday. I did 2 back-to-back yesterday.
Okay, no problems. Good stuff, mate. Well done.
Unbelievable, mate. And definitely won the prize for the best man for this morning as well on the KOA Sports League broadcast. So congrats. He's zipping up. You don't have to zip up. It's great.
Yep, so we're back here with that other group that we were following early. So they're now winding their way around.
Yep,
and
we'll
try
them
and
home as well, Tim and Kappa. We'll get that helicopter working nicely on that group, as we need a little bit of help with that from the younger generation. So, Kappa, big race, mate. So you're just going to fly that helicopter for us now over these guys as they roll through. They're just past that little section down to Ocean Boulevard.
Still a bit to go there, Greg, as well. So what you'll get to see here as well is, like we were saying, it's all relative to effort. So a nice pack here. It's races within races. It's not all about the front top 20, top 30. It's all about... So we're with 116th here in the race in this group. So plenty of riders in front of them. But you can see here there's probably 15 to 20 riders, and they're going to lay it down, in essence, with their intensity factor as well. So we'll look for some early breakaways as they come underneath the KOA Sports rock as well.
That's not our Steve Davies, I don't think, the VCRT mean. I did see Steve-O dialing in to watch the Facebook broadcast. And there we go, Messina. We highlighted him last week, the Natural Grocers team. So these guys now coming around, they'll take that right-hand turn and punch it up towards the finish line.
We've got the Canadian Guerra. We've got El Guerra there, GL Guerra there, and the Canadian flag.
Here we go.
So
who's going to be the first one to light it up? We're with Messina at the moment, 160 beats a minute.
Davies
there goes Davies off the front. Cudillo's still in there as well. Here comes Harry Purcell, one of Kappa's mates. He's in a C-grade rider, absolutely off the front now. Here come the feather power-ups from behind, though, with Cudillo rolling straight over the top, and El Guerra as well. Del Santo now rolls straight through the front, 11 watts a kilo. He's going to take the chockies in this group. Back to Cudero, and then Harry Purcell just burnt those bickies a little bit early, so great to see another sprint finish come through there as well.
Yeah, perfectly done, mate. So here we go with another group now, so we're just going to jump back and grab another
this
finish.
One home, Tim. These guys are going to ramp it up as well. They've got about 300 or 400 metres to go.
Ali Esfa in there, and Orndorff, and another one from Broken Spoke, one of Nathan's mates. So good to see, and I'm not going to fly the helicopter. I'm just going to call it as I see it, so bear with us here. So we just try and get around as many riders as we can and share the love, so to speak. So Handyman in there, that's one of my mates, Handyman, I can relate. Kiam in there, 8.5 watts per kilo off the front there. El Asafa is off the front. Westby, 8.5 watts per kilo, taking in famous Starlight on the outside. Broken Spoke there, 10.6 watts per kilo off the front. Carson at 10.2, and we've got T Gray, looks like it's going to roll through to the front, and Broken Spoke, I think, has got the chocolates there in that event as well.
The Moose come through there as well. So great to be able to watch. So our phones are getting lit up already, Tim, with some new FTPs and things coming through from Training Peaks with some of these riders, and we're just going to jump across on our own screen just to pick up that Bologna field at the moment. So we're just watching that. There's about 18 minutes. We have got a little halftime show before, though.
We certainly do, and we'll do a quick break with BMC and then straight into the halftime show. So stick around. We've got plenty of news, and then into the next KOA Sports League race. So stick around, grab a coffee maybe, sit back, enjoy the halftime show. Doesn't matter.
Righto, here we go. And what a little package we're going to throw together here. We've got a few things to cover off here, Tim and Kappa. I'm just going to stop moving around. But definitely our first ever halftime show, and we want to bring a bit of the action from Zwift. First thing we want to do, though, is results, Tim. So I'm going to run through those. But
while you've got your head down.
Excuse the top of my head and the solar love panels. Do you know how many comments I got about my little haircut last night?
A lot.
Way too many. It tells me I need to get a few more haircuts. So we're going to run through the top 10 here from the KOA Sports Community Race. We had Scotty Weiss take it out 22.52. That's a whole minute quicker than the guys went last night. And certainly with that front pack being as big as it was, it certainly got lit up. Good to see Eric Lozelle coming through for second. Always a big performer, uses his power-ups perfectly. Backing it up, double podium for this man, Aidan Sinclair, second last night, third this morning. He probably got out of bed 3 minutes before the race start and hopefully had those cleats clicked in nice and tight. Scotty Gleeson in fourth place, and drum roll for this man, Nathan Guerra.
How's that?
I don't know who he's talking to at the moment, but he's talking to someone.
He'd be on Twitch.
Fifth place overall in the KOA Sports Community Race. Great to see. And we're going to throw over to him as part of this little halftime show as well. We had Severo, the Argentinian athlete, in sixth place. Brett Boniface in seventh. Sprowley jumped in there for eighth place. And in ninth place, we had Beaulieu, and rounding out the top 10, man that lit the race up, as always, JPV, rounding out the top 10 this evening. And Tim, I'm just going to go back and have a look at a couple of other notable results in there. We had Cormac. Cormy jumped in there for 13th place, the Irish athlete who we highlighted pre-race. And just rolling back through, Johnny Rocket, Alex Side, all top 20. Trying to find Drewy Ginn in there. I can't quite see him, but definitely would have figured not too far off the front.
Would have been interesting also. We know some of these riders also now are doing a lot of live streaming, of course, of their races. So I know Alessandro Sproul is streaming some of the races, and jeepers, there's at least 12 to 13 riders now in this community race. And of course, Dazzler Carter on the Thursday night race as well. So it's really interesting to get that perspective of the in real life. And we are, of course, looking to add that into our show, which you would have seen Nathan there as well, but we really look for good visual. Yeah. So, well and truly.
Jump in. So part of this halftime show is to lead us into race 2 this 100%. Morning. So if you're in the KOA Sports League, you will have a link to this race, which is a private race, and it's run on the Bologna TT course. It's going to be about 15 to 16 minutes of total pain. If you're not already in the league, www.koasportsleague.com. That will get you in the league for next week.
For next week.
Yeah.
So we won't be able to process it in 13 minutes. So we've got Training Peaks now on board as a distribution. Of course, we've been working with Training Peaks for a number of years, and they are now sponsoring here in the KOA Sports League. So welcome along to the whole team there. And of course, we write all sorts of blogs about esports. I wrote a blog about, it would have been April last year, about esports and coaching, and got thrown under the bus massively on social media about how stupid it was. Well, turns out it's going not too bad in the end. So we, of course, use a lot of these Zwift races for our own athletes that we coach as a great little way to basically do an FTP test without them knowing it, but also as a way to keep things fresh, keep it exciting, and have a bit of fun with it. Of course, some people really take it seriously and some people not so much, but it's all relative to the athlete, and you can really capture it if you are a coach out there and use this technology to your advantage. So check it out. And of course, yesterday afternoon, Greg, there was major announcement here in Australia, so relevant to our Australian audience, for Cycling New South Wales and Queensland members, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. So Cycling New South Wales and Cycling Queensland have gotten together along with a little bit of help from us, and they are going to run a State of Origin series over 3 weeks through our 7:45 p.m. verified race. So if you're out there, you're a member of Cycling Queensland, Cycling New South Wales, jump on www.koasportsleague.com and join the league. Those races, Tim and Kappa, are going to be on the 30th of April, second race being the 7th of May, and the third race and the finale being on the 14th of May. To coincide with the State of Origin series, for those out there, is basically NFL without padding. So if you want to watch a real game of footy, come across and watch that game. But it'll be head-to-head. It's the cane toads up against the cockroaches. So it's always going to be awesome. And some great prizes will come into that league as well from Cycling New South Wales and Cycling Queensland partners. So
yeah, 100%, Greg. And look, as someone who's now lived in Queensland for nearly 14 years, so most of my adult life, I know there's a real hatred across the border, certainly, and I have more empathy for New South Wales people having to live in that state. I really feel sorry for you. So it is, of course, a horrific place to live down in New South Wales. So Queensland all the way.
Okay,
and where's your allegiance?
I'm a blue through and through
Horrendous.
forever. Once you've got blue blood, you're done. Kappa's still supporting the English cricket team, so he hasn't worked out where
imagine
he's from.
living in Sydney.
I'm a Marines.
Now, speaking
imagine living in Sydney. Just horrific.
Of Queenslanders, I want to highlight a little Queenslander that I got a little bit of a video of this morning. And we're going to throw to a little video of someone in the
proud dad
Valentine.
moment.
Here, you can talk us through it. Here you go.
Mate, we've been working at this for a while, but as all dads would know, it's such a great moment when your little girl or boy gets those training wheels off and is away. And that happened literally about an hour and a half ago. So my wife's probably going to kill me for putting this up, but I'm too proud anyway. So my little girl, Sawyer, she's without training wheels and out there, but she gives me a nice clip too.
Absolutely.
She gives me a nice clip, so check this out. Just going beautifully here. Look at that. She's
rides faster than you.
Yeah, she's got me covered.
riding her bike.
Dad's excited. That's what it's all about. She loves her dad. Watch this.
Here we go. Good girl.
Just get out of my way.
That's the best.
She's
the day that little girl knows a few adult adjectives, you are in big trouble. So
what an absolute ripper.
ripper.
I'll play that back to her when she's older. So, yeah, absolutely super proud of my little girl Sawyer. So off with the training wheels and just pushing me, giving me the Dustin Martin, don't argue. So get out of the way, Dad. You are embarrassing. So,
as
yes,
this
mate,
man, our 5th place finisher this morning, we want to cross to him now. It looks like he's got his heart rate back. So
good sound.
Hello to Nathan Guerra.
Hello.
Yeah, bring it nice and close,
Got me?
Nath.
Check
Yeah,
one.
we
Gotcha.
do. You are a bit
Yeah, you
faint,
guys
but
got me,
mate,
right? Okay, good deal.
tell us about
Well, we can do this. We can do
That's
this
good.
right
Better.
there, nice and loud.
That's good, man. So well done there on the result. That's a super talented field. And, mate, just give us a bit of a walkthrough there on those 4 laps about where maybe there were some key moments or some really big attacks there. Can you remember anything through the race that really sort of stood out there?
So, like, up front, it's a hurricane of pain. This is like short track racing. Like, really, these races are full-on MTB short track racing. So you don't really, unless you're experienced with that kind of, like, continual pressure. I mean, you think you're at your limit already the whole time. That's essentially what it was. And then you have to just kind of find those little bits more that you can, like, there's this little, you're at a threshold essentially, and that's why you have to go a little bit over. Don't go too far, and make sure you don't find yourself in a bad situation. And there was a couple of moments when you saw me at the back that I was wondering, should I be here? The setups, you always use a little bit of climbs. Don't go too hard. You saw a couple of riders off the front. I don't even think half of them meant to be there. The other half, yes, they did, and they were just crazy. But when you do use the inclines, like, you use them just to get to about a third of the way up. And if you go too much, so there was a couple moments on pretty much every time we hit the double, I definitely tried to hit up a third. And then once you go into that last 2K, though, you got to be up in that, like, top 10 or else it's game over before you even hit the turn. So
yeah, so I didn't quite catch it, Nate. What sort of wattage were you pushing over the finish line? Because your head was going up and down like a chicken looking for breakfast.
So I think it was, I wasn't positive. I asked Stream if I bumped over 1,000. I know I saw 893. And I was really surprised. I averaged 4.7 at 320, and then to bump to 800 plus after averaging pretty much threshold the whole time, I was really impressed with my effort. But it was a great effort, really good effort, guys. There's nothing like this. And then having you guys in the ear the whole time live, because I got a direct line right now to the broadcast.
You do.
A lot of people have to watch and have the delay. I had you guys right there, so that was a huge motivator, actually.
That's the old broadcast FTP being lifted straight through the roof. So great to see, mate, and it's good to see you got a bit of colour back in your face. So that's always good to see as well.
Yeah, going really well, Nathan.
glad
So
to not
we're
be
looking
sick
forward to
anymore.
tucking into a podcast discussion later on. But 6 minutes till the Bologna TT time trial race. They will be on road bikes, of course, but about 30, 35 riders. So very, very different style of race, clearly to what we just saw. Totally different, which we'll get a good chance to. But I can already see in the paddock in the background, some of those riders have been in the community race in that front pack. So they're going back to back. So shout out to them and some fresh riders as well, some fresh meat, I would say, to lay it down as well. So if you've got any questions, by the way, on ZCL, KOA Sports or Training Peaks for Nathan or anything like that during the halftime show, we'll try and bring them in and engage with the Zwift community, because that's what it's all about, and we're trying to add as much education here into the broadcast as well, Greg. But Bologna, mate, it's an absolute beast of a course.
Yeah, it's a beast of a course.
Short, though.
It's very short, very sharp, and a little bit of a head wobble again from Tim. That's the second one this morning, or maybe the third one. You went about 16 minutes 30 on this course in your absolute peak in 2019 pre-Ironman. So that'll be interesting to see. Chase that, guys. And quick shout out before they will. So a few people that are backing up. We've got Ivany in there, Conti's in there. Great to see Sinclair in there as well. And Brett Boniface backing up as well with Poliski, Johnny Rocket, and the Big E. So huge group of athletes going to come through this event as well. And then a shout out to some of the athletes racing in the C grade division as well. We've got Chris McAlpine, Greg Carpenter, and the Ultraman Australia record holder, Tim, Emily Kempson, coming in hot as well. She'll be smashing it up that climb.
Yeah, so just to remember, you can, of course, join the KOA Sports League. It is free, so if you just heard us talking there about the State of Origin, jump involved. We'll get you all set up for in a couple of weeks' time. But, of course, if you aren't part of those states, get involved with now over 500 members here in the KOA Sports League. So we're just going to take a short break. We've been going solid now for about 40 minutes. Stick around for the next 90 seconds and we'll be back for the start of the Bologna KOA Sports League race.
Righto, that's Tim's favourite music on the BMC ad there. So great to see the Team Machine disc in action, and what a bloody lovely bike that is. And we're just about to wrap up our first ever halftime show. So shout out to Nathan for absolutely giving it to yourself and giving us a hand. And if you are watching, you need to dial in later today in about 6 to 7 hours to from now. We will have a podcast dropping with the great Nathan Guerra, and we will learn a lot of things about him, some things we don't even know, Tim. But looking forward to that chat. And thanks for joining us for the halftime show. We're looking forward in a 1 minute and a half to cracking straight into the broadcast of the Bologna TT race.
Yeah, well, that was great fun. So we'll look to add a little bit of news and some new stuff in there. So thanks for tuning in to the halftime show. So here we are with the KOA Sports League. So just a little bit of background. So we do have a couple of league races going at the moment. We have a verified race. Probably, it's unkind to call this the non-verified race. It's still a private event, obviously, that you can come along and get involved in, but you don't require a Training Peaks account connected to us for this one. Albeit, I've been shocked to see actually how many people are jumping across to do this one, Kent. So, mate, how are you going down there, buddy? You're down in the cave and working beautifully.
I'm good, thanks. My fingers are on fire. There's smoke coming from the fingers because I'm doing so
How's
much
that
stuff
coffee
here.
going?
It's good. It's I've drunk about 1/3 of it, mate. It's
That's a PB.
That's another waste of money for me. That's great.
Much nicer than
great.
the soy flat white or whatever it was last.
That's great. I might as well buy you a mud coffee because you don't drink it. So anyway,
If you try and drink it, do this at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So you see some of our great typing work in there as well.
Thanks to Chris McAlpine. That's great, mate. Thanks for picking me up on that. I'm trying to do 7,000 things, but that's okay. That's always good. So
you can't do two things at once, mate. You're hopeless.
I'm a male. So here we go. 7 seconds now. Now this race, guys, this is pretty much pancake flat for the first 5 kilometres, and then we are going to hit one of the more serious hills on the Zwift platform, and it's great. Look at this, Boniface backing up, Poliski in there backing up, and who else we got? We got Rick Charlesworth in there. He's backing up as well, and good to see a good smattering of KOA Sports athletes in there as well. Stevie Davies, had Joel Leby in that group, Tim, and see Emily Kempson riding out there, and the great man out of the Sutherland Shire, Chrissy Piper. He's ripping it up there as well. And just on the back of that group there, Tim, right, you're going to like this one, Tim. There's Kirsty Sheehan, just in about 6th place at the moment, and a really good coach and KOA Sports athlete, hails out of Brisbane.
Yeah, just launched yesterday, multi-dimensional coaching. If I've
you got it.
up,
No,
I'm
you
sorry
got
if I
it.
got it.
You got it.
So saw that. So all the best with that venture, and really smart nutritionist as well. So if you are looking for a little bit of that in your coaching, talk to Kirsty. Happy to give her a shout out. So
always like her husband Dave. His nickname
Rooster?
is the Rooster.
Yeah,
so
he's a
bloody
beast.
good cyclist too. Out of
he's
out
verified.
Of Brisbane.
He's verified in the league. He is
now
legit.
he just
and
needs
he's
to
going
show
a lot.
up. Now he just needs to show up.
Well, he was there last night.
Okay, sorry, Davo. Well done, mate. You just had a good race. Okay, so the little front group starting to... we've got Mullins in that front group from the Dirt team as well. And young Aidan Sinclair, does this man stop, Tim? He is in another event. And Emily Kempson in that front group as well. And you'll start to see... There's Brett Boniface just sitting at the back. We will see him light it up when they hit this Italian climb called Bologna.
Yeah, it's just a totally different race. So if you have been with us the whole time, so you would have just seen it. And Joel Eby, yeah, great to see Joel in here in very good time trial form, just doing laps and laps of Singapore at the moment. So some good riders in there. But this is totally different. As you say, for the first basically 5.5, 6 kilometres, she's pretty flat. It does start to kick up at about 4 kilometres, slowly. And then you get onto the proper Bologna climb, which is, of course, 2.1 kilometres at an average of 10%. So you'll get big attrition, big stretching. Unlikely, you will definitely not get a sprint finish. And you may even get some breakaways off the front. But we know these riders pretty well, even though, some of them already do, so they're doing all the races. But we know these guys really well and a much smaller front pack. So Kirsty, they're hanging in there with the front pack, which is great to see. Poliski, Ivany, and laying it down.
Yeah, shout out to Kyle Godson, Tim, who's watching live on Facebook at the moment.
Yep.
He registered last night, so he can race the State of Origin series.
Fantastic.
And let's hope he's a cockroach and not a cane toad. So I am definitely backing the cockroaches for this one. Hailing out of Sydney for most of my life, and we'll put you two on the cane toad list, which is actually a pest. The cane toad is a pest. So hopefully we can.
Such
you
is
around
so
a bit.
different this rate. We just called 375 riders in the
It's a little
Warrior
bit
race
more
in the
relaxed.
community. We've got 20 riders here in the Bologna race as well. A nice little tidy front pack. And we do have some riders back in a second pack. We got Jack, of course, Jack Richardson from Shanghai, of course, a British guy. And he was, of course, on the last episode of the podcast as well, giving us a bit of an insight into life in Shanghai and how much that has changed over the past few months. Mark Willis back there as well. Give him a shout out. April Gillies, B. Semple, and of course, we've got Ivany, Sinclair, Piper, Davies, and Boniface.
Yeah, we're just following there Chris McAlpine, who has certainly got into the KOA Sports League, and he is riding with my partner, April Gillies, at the moment. Last time
Good
I
stuff.
saw April was at the cafe about 2 hours ago, and she was walking home. So I didn't know she was actually jumping on the bike, but there you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've got a rider just up the road there, the academic. It's Jack Academic, because he's a school teacher, of course.
Got it.
So Big Jack.
He's a music teacher.
He's up in Shanghai, and April and Chris will try and no doubt breach across to that wheel as well.
Yeah, it's all about the stories of the athletes. Every one of these avatars has a story. You know, got Boniface in there, current or former pro. I might have stuffed that up. But
we'll run with that.
We'll run with that. Aiden Sinclair, young up-and-comer. S. Davies, of course, up there in Cairns. So everyone has a story. So and we look to tell as much as that as possible.
I'll tell you a little story about one of these athletes in here, and that is Emily Kempson. Now, she is an absolute beast. She's been to Kona 2 times as a triathlete.
Same as Kirsty.
Same
Head
as
to
Kirsty
head.
Sheehan. Yeah, there
Bang.
you go. Only
Here we
about
go.
15 years
4
apart.
Konas.
4 Konas between those 2 ladies, and 2 Ultramans. There you go. So shout out to both of them. Kirsty Sheehan holds the run record at Ultraman Australia, 7 hours 40 for the double marathon. That's genuinely, I'm not absolutely genuinely about.
I'm not taking credit for that. I was not coaching her at that time.
However, Emily Kempson holds the overall race record, as we see Aiden
Just
Sinclair
rolls to
bounce
the
it
front.
off the front. So Emily Kempson holds the overall race record. God knows how far ahead she was on the bike in relation to those records, but a 2 hour 30 swimmer for 10K, if you don't mind, Emily.
Wow.
And got herself out of the water in 3rd or 4th place overall. So shout out to those 2 ladies, both genuine endurance or ultra endurance athletes.
Yeah, so you'll definitely start to see this just start to spread out. We're still, of course, on 0% here, but just that little attack there of Aiden Sinclair and Poliski has just put a second or 2 back to them, and Boniface even 2 seconds back. Chris Piper riding with Boniface at the moment. But we've also got Mark Willis. If we can drop back, Kappa, to the other Zwift screen at the moment, and Mark Willis, pretty new to Zwift at the moment, and he will take out D grade tonight if he finishes.
Absolutely.
He sent me a text last week, and he was
Take
a
the
winner
jockeys.
chicken dinner. So Mark, mate, it's great to have you along and involved, and just giving it a go. Just give it a go.
And I know Mark's got a great sense of humour, Tim.
Look at him up the power.
Yeah, he's definitely up the power. He's watching along. And one thing he needs to do is just give you a quick text and get the brand of that tanning oil you use. He's a little bit white.
Oh, that's a bit harsh.
He's a little bit white there at the moment. So obviously things getting a little bit cooler in Melbourne. And since we've been highlighting him, talking about him, his heart rate's gone from 133 to 138 and climbing. So broadcast push there as we go back to this front group, which is again tightly packed together with Kuntz still in that group as well.
And Shah Ballard there on the Zwift Community Live comment, the race starts on the climb. 100% agree. Yeah. No doubt about it. That is when the action will kick off.
Let's just talk about the climb for a minute. So it definitely kicks up at the start, and then it levels off to just a lazy about 4%, 5%, and then it gets harder. The 7K mark of this race. So in 2K's time, when they're already gone a kilometre up the climb, you've got a ramp of about 12 to 15% for 300 or 400 metres. It levels out again, and then it kicks again up to the finish. So a very, very tricky climb. And you'll see that gradient marker there as they take this left-hand corner, will start to climb. We're not too far away from the start now.
Less than a kilometre to go to the start of the climb. And of course, you can join the KOA Sports League at any time for free. So if you've got a little bit of FOMO and going, how do I do this event? I can't find it on the app. Where is the event on the app? You just join the KOA Sports League and you get a My Account page and get access to workouts and events events and information and all sorts of stuff here on the KOA Sports League.
Yeah, and before we hit the climb proper as well, let's let everyone know once again that we are interviewing the great Nathan Guerra, who's still in his warm down, by the way. He's still bringing that heart rate down.
Can see him there.
We are putting him on the KOA Sports Podcast Season 2. That will be out later today in about 6 to 7 hours' time, and we will have that up on iTunes and Spotify. So subscribe there, and I think it looks like I've just had a quick look at Nathan. We don't need to cross
Still
to
together.
him. It looks like he's doing a bit of work, actually, in that pain cave again, just ramping things up again.
Right. So here we go. Here's a start up on 6%. So they've well and truly started the climb. So you'll see some pretty steady numbers, and certainly this will concertina out. That's what we expect to see. We'll see some concertinaing effects.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got in that front group now, there's some very experienced
Joel off
riders.
the front.
So you won't see Boniface come through. I don't think this is where it really kicks here. 12, 14%. Those kickers really start to bite those legs, especially if you've already done a race before today. And one KOA Sports athlete just off the back a little bit there. And this is starting to drift out now. And those front four guys starting to establish themselves.
It's not all about wattage. It's about watts per kilo, of course, as well. So it's not all about wattage, but that's a great view there. Here's where the elastic band starts to break, as you see sometimes in some of the great tour races around the world. When they start to kick and they start to apply the pressure, you get riders starting to drop off the back. Albeit, I'm pretty surprised to see some of those names still with some of these riders at the moment. We're watching Joel Eby in the Training Peaks kit alongside Aidan Sinclair, and we've got, of course, Poliski here of Team Finesse at 6.3 watts per kilo. They'll be able to hold this for a long period of time. Don't you worry about that.
The other thing, when you start to climb, like in real life, you lose that drafting effect. So there's no point sitting on a wheel anymore. You might as well go and ride your own race. So as we see Aidan Sinclair just pushing a lazy 6.6 watts a kilo, his heart rate's starting to climb right up now, 175.
Moving up.
He does have a max heart rate of about 205. So expect to see that rise up as we go as well. And he's just going past Poliski there, who's sticking like glue to his wheel. And Rick Charlesworth there, Tim, in a third place with Boniface starting to come through now, Brett Boniface.
Yeah, Joel just dropping back there, 4 seconds back. So I think that elastic band has broken on Joel Eby. So we've got down to 4. Certainly Aidan Sinclair on this front pack. Yep, there it is. A good view, actually. So Joel's got that carrot up the road. Needs to hustle a little bit. We'll see what he can accomplish. He's got about a 300k ride coming up this weekend as well. So maybe saving a little bit. So Aidan Sinclair now 6 seconds up of Poliski, Boniface and Ivany. So certainly down to these 4 riders. But dropping back there, of course, to Chris Piper and Kuntz.
Yeah, absolutely. So you'll see they're still at 11%. Once they hit this little tight bend here at 6.5, 6.6 Ks, it actually flattens out a little bit, if you can say that. So when you've been riding 12%, 9, 8, 7% feels easy. So there's Chrissy P there. He's coming up the road there, holding on to Kirsty Sheen's wheel. Both still pushing 4.6 watts a kilo. And check out that heart rate now from Pipes, Tim, 174 beats a minute. So he's starting to work really hard.
Most riders here now on the climb. So, of course, last night we had 94 riders in the verified race and 20 here today. So over 100 riders in some of these private events. So going really well, and watch them grow over the next few months. We're only 4 weeks into the season, if you can believe that. So we'll roll on up to the front here. 21 seconds. I think Poliski there is 4 seconds back. So we're down to Sinclair and Boniface, both in the green kit. Sinclair there in the Oliver's kit. You've got the big orange circle looking thing on his back, and there we've got Boniface now just rolling to the front, almost taking turns. They can flick the elbow, Greg. They can
still flick
the elbow.
Flick it. So interesting to see.
Kick again.
Yeah, they kicked 9, 10% this little hairpin turn. Watch this ramp here now. This hits 14, 15%, this little one, and it absolutely, 18%, stings the legs. And then you're
a drink.
Just having a little bit of a cappuccino there, Brett, as he rolls up. So great to see these guys. Check out Aidan's heart rate now, 180. They're starting to really ramp things up.
Boniface didn't like that. He didn't like that. Sinclair just tried to roll up on the outside, but Boniface just puts it down and says, hey, I'm going to have the front. If you want to do the work, you're going to have to come with me and lay it down. So he's asking the question right now of Sinclair. Just a little gap. I wouldn't like to see that get any wider. Can Sinclair close that gap? I reckon that's out to about a second now. Boniface now putting some hurt down. Maybe he's seen a little bit of a crack in Aidan Sinclair. Surely Sinclair can't get the bridesmaid result again.
Oh, can he go 3 back-to-back podiums without a win?
Come on, Aidan.
We'll see how he goes, and we'll see him ramp it up. So only 900 metres to go, which sounds like if that was in the volcano of course, we'd knock it over in
He's
about
responding
60
here.
seconds, but we've got a couple of minutes to go. Look at that heart rate now, 181, 182. There it is, 182 coming up now. Feel like an auctioneer. If we got 183 in the room, here we go now. So
14 kilometres per hour has never felt so fast as they move up here on the Bologna circuit. Boniface now laying down the channels. He's put 2 seconds onto Aiden. Can he find another gear? Back to RC, Ivany 6 seconds. Poliski 11 seconds back, and Joliebi 18 seconds back. So we got battles within battles. As we said, the attrition, it's a different sort of a finish, but the pain is real.
Yeah, might just drop back, Kappa, while we're there and just have a look at some of the heart rates on some of these other guys as well, if we can. He's still got 700 metres to go, which will take him a few minutes. I've got Poliski there, 167 beats a minute. Joliebi still pushing 5.1. And Pipes 5.2 watts a kilo. So the heart rate's there, 161. These guys are still working their absolute backsides off.
Yeah, we'll roll up to Boniface now. So he's got the lead. He's got well in check. He's got 8 seconds now on Sinclair. That looks like it could be run and done. We're not sure, though, because you're just not sure how many chocolates. Of course, in the community race, he was well off the front attacking too. But now Aiden Sinclair maybe has Boniface out of sight. 14 seconds back to Sinclair. It looks like he has absolutely snapped the elastic band. A huge effort here by Boniface here, just rolling up towards the end of the Bologna climb. And then we've got probably a battle back there for second position now, Ivany and Sinclair, but we'll stay with Boniface. He's earned the right here to have the lights, camera, action, supporting the Canadian flag as he's coming towards the end here on the Bologna circuit. So 8 kilometres, of course, just 300 metres to go. And Boniface definitely going to take the win here in the KOA Sports League race. 19 seconds.
Definitely.
He's got me.
Definitely.
He's certainly got my 16:30 covered. Well, and truly, he's going to come in around 15 minutes, which is absolutely outstanding. Just holding 5.7 watts per kilo and cruising it towards the finish line.
Yeah, absolutely. Rolling it up now, 200 metres to go. Any minute now, you'll catch the glimpse of that finish arch, which is a very, very welcome sign when you do this event. So, Tim, just throw it out there. Your time was 16:30. I think you've been well and truly destroyed here. He'll be through in about 1 minute.
Absolutely destroyed. So if you want to get involved, we want to get some numbers up on this event. So next week, we, of course, are bringing these back-to-back broadcasts with the halftime show. So make sure you jump into this event as well, or just do this one. So we've got some interesting courses coming up. Boniface here, going to take the win here in the KOA Sports League race here out on the Bologna circuit as we drop back to Ivany now as well.
He's rolling up to Sinclair. He's pushing
hard. Can he get him?
Sinclair's had a kick to the line, 6.7 watts a kilo. He doesn't want to drop back to that third place on the podium. Looks like he's got Rick Charlesworth covered though, and Aiden Sinclair, the young man, 3 podiums in 3 starts within 12 hours is absolutely amazing. So well done to those guys as well. And here we go, Rick Charlesworth just rolling up to the finish line as well. And a quick shout out to Pete Sinclair. He's a bit conflicted. He's blaming Aiden's mother that the family split on State of Origin, but they will be joining us.
Yeah, fantastic to see Joliebi now. So as these riders start to finish off their workouts and some of their races here as well, mate, really exciting stuff. So we've been rolling over for a bit of an hour. Of course, we did about an hour and a half yesterday. So fantastic to see, mate. So, yep, you can join, of course, the KOA Sports League for free. So jump into that, mate. And, of course, we've got the podcast coming up with Nathan Guerra this afternoon, which will drop on iTunes and Spotify. There I am right now, mate. I'm going to go off and grab a bit of water. I'll throw back to you to wrap it all up, and hope you enjoyed.
Righto, thanks for joining us in the KOA Sports League community race and the KOA Sports League private race this morning or this evening, wherever you are in the world. Link into the podcast for this afternoon. Subscribe on iTunes and Spotify. We're looking forward to having a chat with Nathan. And as always, thanks to the great man, Cappuccino Cross, for all your help this morning, mate. And we will see you guys soon.